Hey, what it do, y'all? What it do, what it do. In this particular video, I want to stress something very, 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 very important. Like, when I say that approaching women happens naturally, I don't mean to say it in a sense that you should naturally know how to approach women. That is not what this video is about. Coming at y'all from the inverted perspective with this video. So, for those that know the way I do content, y'all already know how I'm about to get down with this video per se. So let's go in, let's get it. All right, so here's the thing. Yes, approaching women happens naturally. That doesn't mean that a man naturally knows how to approach women. Okay? And of course, at this channel, I talk about the situational approach because I believe that's the best way a woman should be approached in the first place. So, in a sense, that is the most natural way to approach women. That's, just based on how things naturally occur between you two. But where I'm going with this more detailed is you don't have to shoot the best line. I mean, obviously, you're being respectful. But ladies, y'all got to understand, like, uh, sometimes a man ain't nervous when he talks to you. Maybe he's just so excited he doesn't have words. And so for a lot of y'all not used to a man being generous just from the standpoint of being excited. I think that's what you have to look forward to more because here's where a lot of girls fumble. Okay, we're gonna sit to this. Might be a little hate 2-0 in the building. Got to put some ice in your veins, right? So here's the thing: when you get the dude that come at you, ladies, with the perfect lines, the perfect talk. Hey, how you doing? My name is such and such. Nice to meet you. And like just, and I'm not saying that's how a certain guy would talk. You know what I'm saying? But just in the sense of where everything he says to you is just perfect. The way he comes up at you, the way he talks to you, the way he uh, gets you to give him your number, all that stuff. Like you'd be like, yo, that dude got some game. He know how to talk. But that's where you get thrown. That's where you get thrown off. That's what a guy like him is supposed to do. And then he sells you a dream. He misleads you. He manipulates you. So you learned the hard way that the way he approached you was in a way of him just trying to get some out of you in the first place. Whereas the guy that actually likes you, he probably was so excited when he approached you and started talking to you that he just didn't know what to say, but he was happy to talk to you. Obviously, he was able to carry a conversation and things warmed up just as you warmed up to him, especially if you were like, I wish men did actually come up to talk to me. Well, now you got one that's talking to you, and he might stumble with his words, but that doesn't mean he's nervous. He might just be excited. Okay. And so I want guys to understand that, like, because I didn't want to title this video How to Approach Women, or This is How You Should Approach Women, or This is Another Way to Approach Women, even though this is actually, yeah, another way to approach women. But I didn't want to title it that either. I just think more or less that approach women should happen naturally, and more or less the cry out for gals to actually start approaching men now in the sense is due to the fact that a lot of guys don't realize that approaching women should happen naturally. Because, see, gals, check this out. When you got a guy that's actually talking to you, coming at you a certain way to talk to you, to get you to come out them digits, guess what that is? That's dudes from the blade. I'm gonna just say it. That's a pimp. That's a player. Them type of guys know how to come at you and talk to you a certain way. You got all these guys and some of you gals that you've been taught all these years how a dude need to have some game and confidence. Y'all like to call it confidence. He needs to have some type of confidence to come talk to y'all. That's what the pimps do, and that's what the players do. You know what I'm saying? A man that actually likes you, that ain't no pimp, that ain't no player, that ain't no Mac or nothing like that. He might be so excited to talk to you. He just doesn't really know what to say, but he's just like, he might, some of you gals know, it ain't that he's even like pedestalizing you either, more or less, for your looks. Of course, yeah, I mean, he thinks you look gorgeous. That's why he wanted to talk to you. That's one reason. But the other reason is it's just something about the way maybe y'all interacted. Like I said, going back to what I said about the situational approach. It was the environment, it was the aura. Because in my cases, I've had a girl before be like, I knew there was a certain, he was looking at me a certain way. Like it was the way he was looking at me, and I was like, it's the way he was looking at me too. So it's kind of, hey, hi, just, and sometimes it might come off that way. It might come off like some people would say cheesy or cornball. So what? So what? Yeah, so what? I'm just saying from the standpoint of, where y'all both just kind of start talking. Like, she's a little excited, he's a little excited, maybe she's a little nervous, maybe he's a little nervous, but somehow in the midst of this sort of hi, and she'd be like, hi. And then y'all just actually start talking, and then it be like, hey, well, can I talk to you later? It's the way I can stay in touch with you if it's possible, depending on if she's seeing somebody right now or not, and likewise with him. Then yeah, y'all can continue on with that. So that's more natural. That's a more natural way versus if a dude coming at a chick with certain slick lines. And there are guys like that out there. They call them pickup artists. So for all you guys out there and you gals that want to get little examples of the way you think a guy should approach you, and y'all want to live in that little fantasy land instead of reality of how things actually take place, go ahead. There's a lot of videos like that out there. But this video is not about that. This is about the way things naturally happen. Now, I do give credit to some of the movies. Some of the movies do get it right as far as what I mean by the situational approach. Sometimes, a guy might bump into a gal, and things take place after that. Like she dropped her books, he helped her pick the books up, and something happened from there. Maybe they was at the skating rink. He bumped into her. They both fell. He picked her up, but they looked at each other in the eyes. That's more natural. Like, yo, like there's something about you, like, I couldn't let you slide by me like that. Or she might think the same thing. She like, hey, so, and then she might want to say something. That's more natural, more natural. So I just want to go back to that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not speaking out against those who use game, whatever. If that's how you feel, gals, you want a guy to approach you, cool. Guys, if that's how you feel, you would be better off approaching a woman, that's cool. But I'm saying there's another sense of this to where there are more natural situations taking place, and it's based on what I talk about in regards to the situational approach where, you didn't have to, fellas, come up with the perfect line, and ladies don't expect guys to come up with the perfect line to say to you. As long as he's being respectful, you know what I'm saying? There has to be something about him when you saw him, you were attracted to him. I mean, and we're not going to go there with you probably thinking he needs to look a certain way. Last time I checked, gals be having all type of dudes they talk to. It don't matter what a dude look like. I've seen paraplegic dudes still get gals to holler at him. So we ain't going to go there with the way a guy is supposed to look. We ain't going to go there. And that kind of falls in line of something that more or less as far as, when people talk about gals have a type of guy, just like guys have a type of gal, when it's all said and done, like who put these typed words into our conversations? Like to me, that's just all typo. You know what I mean? Because when it's all said and done, when y'all got that connection, it ain't gonna matter. Like, real recognize real. Sometimes, and I can say this through experience, sometimes it's just a few words. And then boom, the exchange happens right there. And then I'll see you later, I'll talk to you later. And then she said, same here. That's more natural though, like versus just apparently all these pickup lines that guys need to have to talk to a gal. Fellas, you don't need that. If you want to use that, fine. There's a lot of videos like that out there. And I'm not, it could be some type of Ponzi scheme. So be aware of that, okay? But I'm just giving you something more realistic. Just be you. Be true and be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Those three things. And you'll be surprised how far you would get as far as talking to her based on whatever the situation was at that time, depending on the environment, whether y'all at a park, a grocery store, whether y'all at a carnival, whether you're on a bus, whether you're on the airplane, you know what I'm saying? Y'all might be in line waiting on the same flight. She might even ask you, hey, what city you're going to? I was kind of confused with which gate to go to. And then you tell her which gate. And then, you could be like on the side, like, hey, if you got a minute, my name is such and such. And if she, goes from there, which you can go from there, you know what I mean? But it ain't based on you having to have the perfect line. You know what I'm saying? It's just, a man that has an interest in a certain gal, obviously you want to try to figure out how can you talk to him more. And sometimes you could be even more direct than that. You could just say, hey, I like you a lot, or I think you're very, whatever. You just basically you tell her how you really feel. Nothing wrong with you fellas telling the girl how you really feel. And like I said, you being respectful about it. How's she gonna just turn that down? I mean, especially we're in a climate now where gals be like, guys don't approach us. Well, you don't have no excuse now if you got a guy actually trying to approach you and then you reject him. No excuse. No excuse. See, certain gals want a certain type of guy to approach them. That's the problem. But, you know, like I said, the only thing about it is if you get, like I said, these guys with these perfect pickup lines that get you gals to give up the number. And I think all that is, some gals that say, oh, he said a perfect line for me to give him my number. No, you waiting for the certain transaction. You waiting for the perfect sales pitch. That's what that is. So, fellas, be a little leery about a chick that's gamed up in the sense of where she felt like you didn't talk to her a certain way, so that's a turnoff. No, because she was looking for the perfect sales pitch. You're not a salesman. So, hey, it is what it is. Uh, it is what it is. And it just leave it at that. Like I said, approaching women, to summarize this video, should happen naturally. It didn't require no pickup lines. It didn't require you saying all the little perfect words. Simply put, you had an interest in her, so you could bring that up. But before then, just seeing if she got a minute to, if she has a little bit of time to talk and just express your interest. And if she would love to stay in touch with you, and then y'all can exchange from there. It's really that simple. You know what I'm saying? It don't require all these extra lines and extra things you got to say to her to get her to come out of her pockets with her phone for your phone number. But most gals keep their phone out of their pocket anyway. They always walk around with their phone anyway. So don't tell them who they talking to at that moment anyway. And so that's just being general. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to really judge nobody. She might be talking to her sister. You know what I'm saying? She might be talking to her mom's or cousin. You know what I'm saying? So whoever. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, fellas, don't think you gotta have these crazy pickup lines to get a gal. And gals, don't think a guy need to come off like that. Because the guy that really likes you, he might actually be clumsy with what he's saying. But you obviously think he's attractive. Like what gets me is the people from the old days, right? The old lady always be like, yo, like your grandfather, the way he talked to me, he's a little bit like he's a little clumsy, but he did the cutest thing. I just thought it was so cute the way he even wanted to talk to me, even though he was really clumsy with it. But I just thought it was something about his smile or something like that. So, it's stuff like that. Stories like that one remembers about certain people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that actually built something wonderful. It wasn't based on him having a perfect pickup line. Now there might be some things he might say, but you know what? That's as time goes on. Even within that situation of how they met, it didn't have to be the first thing he actually said, right? So, because I mean, he could even go through like for a lot of you, based on the date of this video, for even all you high schoolers, okay? So the ones of age, in their 18, being 18 and all that, like I remember my prom, and I had a prom date at the time, and she was about to be my prom date, and I could have chose anybody, and at the time, I ended up choosing her, and then she was like, "Well, why did you see me as a last resort of all the gals she could have had?" I said, "No, I didn't see you as a last resort. I saved the best for last." So, so it's things like that, even in how things happen naturally with how you end up talking to a gal. There could be a certain thing you say to her that does stand out, but that wasn't necessarily the first thing you had to say to get her attention. You know, she started to realize that you mean business just by simply the way you talk, to the way you come off. It could be even something as simple as, "I'm very happy that I met you today, that I ran into you and everything." And she'd be like, "Wow, really?" Like, actually made my day. She might have been having a bad day. So the fact that you're happy to meet her and you told her that, like that made her day. So a lot of guys in these spaces, they wouldn't recommend that because they like, you got to come with this certain confidence, You can't be talking like that. That's like you being in your feelings. Like, man, get out of here, man. Keep it natural. Don't be afraid to tell a girl how you feel. She might actually like you that much more. You know what I'm saying? Because she realized, yeah, he actually does feel for me. You know what I mean? Like there ain't nothing fake here. It doesn't feel like a sales pitch. You know what I'm saying? So girls, keep that in mind. The guy that spitting game to you, he trying to sell something to you. Just like the dudes doing the blade, and the girls that are used to that, they used to that. So these girls that think that's how guys need to come off, I'm like, who raised these people? These guys and these gals. I mean, like, come on, man. You don't need to do all that. If y'all like each other, it should be genuine. It didn't require all these different strategies. I'm just saying. Thanks a million.